Hi everyone. So in this session on compilers, we are going to learn how to eliminate left recursion. So first we need to know what is a left recursion. Left recursion is a production in which the leftmost symbol on the right hand side of the production is exactly same as the symbol on the left hand side of the production. I repeat, we say a production is left recursive if the leftmost symbol on the right hand side of the production is exactly same as the symbol on the left hand side of production. So in this example, can you all tell me whether this is left recursive or not? The leftmost symbol on the right hand side here is capital A. Is it exactly same as the capital A on the left hand side? Yes. That's why this production is left recursive. The leftmost symbol in this production is capital A, which is exactly same as capital A on the left hand side of the production. So this production is also left recursive. Is this production left recursive? Leftmost symbol on the right hand side of the production is exactly same as this A. So this is also having a left recursion. So left recursion is one in which the leftmost symbol on the right hand side of the production, if it is exactly same as the symbol on the left hand side of the production, we say that the grammar is having a left recursion in it. So in this example that I have shown here, I am going to explain to you all how to eliminate the left recursion. Okay. So in this example, A gives A alpha 1 or A alpha 2 or keep on doing ORing till A alpha n. That means A alpha 1 till A alpha n. All this production starts with capital A. Or beta 1, beta 2 till beta m. So all these productions beta 1, beta 2 till beta m do not begin with capital A. Okay. So all these productions beta 1, beta 2 till beta m does not start with capital A. So is this clear what I have written here? All these productions from A alpha 1, A alpha 2 till A alpha n, all these productions start with capital A, and beta 1, beta 2 till beta m, all these productions does not start with capital A. So this is a production that I have given to you all. All these start with capital A, all these do not start with capital A. Clear? So is this grammar having a left recursion? Yes, it is having a left recursion because the leftmost symbol in these productions are starting with the symbol on the left hand side. This grammar is having left recursion because leftmost symbol in these productions starts with a symbol which is exactly same on the left hand side of the production. So if the right hand side of the production starts with a symbol which is exactly same as the symbol on the left hand side of the production, we say that the grammar is having a left recursion. So how to eliminate the immediate left recursion, that we'll learn first. Immediate left recursion is a left recursion that is direct left recursion. That means directly you can see the recursion in it. A is A alpha 1, A alpha 2. So the leftmost symbol is same as symbol on the left. It's a direct left recursion. There is also a category of indirect left recursion. Indirect left recursion is one in which only when you will substitute productions with non-terminals containing other production, then only you come to know whether there is a direct left recursion or not. So indirect left recursion you will come to know better when I'll explain an example. But direct left recursion is one in which you can directly see looking at the production that it is having left recursion. Suppose there is a production A gives B and B gives C and C gives A. After keeping on substituting these productions, you will come to know that A gives A alpha. So then you will come to know after substituting that it has a left recursion in it. That is what an indirect left recursion is. Indirect left recursion is one in which only after substituting you come to know that there is left recursion in it. Direct left recursion, directly looking at the production, you are able to find out that it is having a left recursion. So indirect left recursion is one in which after substituting productions you can see direct left recursion. But if you in direct left recursion, it's direct. Without any substitution, you can directly looking at the grammar you can find out that it is having left recursion. Okay, so I always like to explain simple things first and then make it complex. So that's why I'm explaining you all elimination of immediate left recursion first. Immediate left recursion is what I have explained. All the productions whose leftmost symbol is exactly same as the symbol on the left hand side of the production. I repeat, all the productions which have the leftmost symbol exactly same as symbol on the left hand side of production are a direct left recursion. So let's try to eliminate that. So in this example, A alpha 1 till A alpha n start with A. Beta 1 till beta m does not start with A. Okay. So how to remove this? The formula is replace all these productions with this. So what is that? A gives beta 1 A dash or beta 2 A dash or beta 3 A dash. Keep on doing till all betas are vanished. Beta m A dash. And A dash is alpha 1 A dash or alpha 2 A dash or alpha 3 A dash. Keep on doing till all alphas are vanished. Alpha n A dash or epsilon. So this is a formula for eliminating direct left recursion. So how to eliminate direct left recursion? First you group all the productions which start with capital A and you group all the productions which do not start with capital A. I repeat, first you group all the productions which start with capital A, then you group all the productions which do not start with capital A. And you replace all these productions with this formula. A gives beta 1 A dash or beta 2 A dash or beta 3 A dash till beta m A dash, and A dash is equal to alpha 1 A dash or alpha 2 A dash till alpha n A dash or epsilon. So you have to replace this with these productions. By this the direct left recursion goes away. So I'll explain to you all an example now of elimination of immediate or a direct left recursion. Then we'll come back to indirect left recursion. So this is an example of a direct left recursion. How? The leftmost symbol on the right hand side exactly matches symbol on the left. So E matches E. Agreed? The leftmost symbol on the right hand side matches the symbol on the left. So E matches E. So it is having a left recursion. Is this production having a left recursion? T gives T asterisk F or F. Does it have a left recursion? What is the leftmost symbol on the right hand side? Capital T. Is capital T exactly matching with capital T on the left hand side? Yes. So the leftmost symbol is matching with the symbol on the left. So this is also having left recursion. Is this having left recursion? No. Because the leftmost symbol is not matching with symbol on the left. The leftmost symbol on the right hand side is not matching with the symbol on the left. That's why these productions are not having left recursion. But these two are definitely having left recursion. Are you agreed? When do you say that you have a direct left recursion? When the leftmost symbol on the right hand side of the production exactly matches with symbol on the left. When the leftmost symbol on the right hand side of the production exactly matches with the symbol on the left, you say that it is direct left recursion. So this grammar is having direct left recursion because of these two sets of productions, E and T. Understood? So how to eliminate the direct left recursion? So if I just compare it with the formula that I showed, what did I say? Group all the productions which starts with A in one group, all which do not start with A in another group. So let's do that. So here I need to group all the productions which start with E in one group and all the productions which do not start with E in another group. Since there are only two productions, one is starting with E and one is not starting with E, it's already grouped. Then let's go on with the next production. Is this having a left recursion in it? Yes. Why? Because the leftmost symbol T exactly matches the symbol on the left. So this is having a direct left recursion. So let's group the productions such that all productions starting with T is clubbed together and all productions not starting with T is clubbed together. Again, here there are only two productions. One is starting with T, one is not starting with T. So it's already grouped. So now let's apply the formula. So if I compare this with the formula, what it says, A gives A alpha or beta. If I compare this with the formula on the previous slide, it depicts A gives A alpha or beta. So what the formula says, A gives beta A dash and A dash gives alpha A dash or epsilon. This formula, A gives beta A dash and A dash gives alpha A dash or epsilon. I am doing the same thing here. So for this production, A is your capital E, alpha is your plus T and beta is T. A is capital E here, alpha is your plus T and beta is T. So E gives T E dash and E dash gives plus T E dash or epsilon. I repeat, A gives T E dash and E dash gives plus T E dash or epsilon. Exactly, I am using the formula. Can you all think and write down the eliminated left recursion for this direct left recursion? T gives T asterisk F or F. If I compare this with the formula, it's of the format A gives A alpha or beta. So here capital T is A, asterisk F is alpha, F is beta. It is of the format A gives A alpha or beta. So A is capital T, alpha is asterisk F and beta is F. So what's the formula? A gives beta A dash and A dash gives alpha A dash or epsilon. So T gives F T dash, T dash gives asterisk F, T dash or epsilon. I'm just applying the formula, nothing big deal. And F does not have any left recursion. The leftmost symbol is not matching symbol on the left. So write it as it is. So how to eliminate left recursion, immediate left recursion? Just apply the formula, very easy. So you have to group the productions starting with the symbol on the left hand side together and production not starting with symbol on the left side together. So all the productions which start with symbol on the left hand side, okay, belong to A alpha 1, A alpha 2, A alpha 3, A alpha 4 till A alpha n. I'll show you all the formula. It's very easy. So all the productions which start with symbol on the left hand side is grouped together, A alpha 1, A alpha 2, A alpha 3 till A alpha n. And all the productions which do not start with symbol on the left hand side are clubbed together. So beta 1, beta 2, beta 3, beta 4 till beta m do not start with A. And to remove this immediate left recursion, I have to replace this with this formula. Formula says A gives A alpha 1, A alpha 2 till A alpha n or beta 1, beta 2 till beta m. Replace this with A gives beta 1 A dash or beta 2 A dash or beta 3 A dash or beta 4 A dash till all betas are vanished, beta m A dash. And A dash gives alpha 1 A dash or alpha 2 A dash or alpha 3 A dash till all alphas are vanished, alpha 1 A dash or epsilon. Simple formula. So the very small broken down formula of this is, if A gives A alpha or beta, very simple. When I don't have many options for production starting with A, and I don't have many options for production starting with beta. So suppose A gives A alpha or beta, what's the formula? A gives beta A dash gives alpha A dash or epsilon. I'm just applying the formula, no big deal. So all these guys was starting with capital A, I group them together. All guys not starting with capital A, I group together. And I replace these productions with A gives beta 1 A dash, beta 2 A dash, beta 3 A dash till beta m A dash. A dash gives alpha 1 A dash, alpha 2 A dash till alpha n A dash or epsilon. So let's apply that here. This is a immediate left recursive. Why? Because the leftmost symbol is starting with same symbol which is on the left hand side of production. This is also having a direct left recursion. Why? Because the leftmost symbol is exactly matching the symbol on the left hand side of the production. So this is of the format A gives A alpha or beta. So A is capital E, alpha is plus T, T is beta. If I just compare this with the formula on the previous slide, this is A gives A alpha or beta. Alpha is plus T, beta is capital T. So how to convert this? E gives T E dash and E dash gives plus T E dash or epsilon. How to break down this particular formula? So here, if I just apply the formula, E gives T E dash and E dash gives plus T E dash or epsilon. Similarly, T gives F T dash, T dash gives asterisk F T dash or epsilon. Since F is not starting with a symbol F on the right hand side, it is not having a immediate or direct left recursion. So that is kept as it is. Clear? So this is how to eliminate direct left recursion. Just apply the formula. A gives A alpha or beta gets converted to A gives beta A dash and A dash gives alpha A dash or epsilon. Just imagine that there is A here. Just imagine that there is alpha here. Just imagine that there is beta here and apply the formula. Formula says if A gives A alpha or beta, then replace it with A gives beta A dash gives alpha A dash or epsilon. Just apply the formula, you will get this. Okay. Now that we have learned elimination of a direct left recursion, now we'll learn what is an indirect left recursion. Indirect left recursion is one in which we can't see the grammar is left recursive just by looking at the grammar, but we hit direct left recursion only after we substitute. Only after we do some substitutions we hit direct left recursion. Until that we don't hit direct left recursion. So I'll give you a very simple example which is on my screen, which will tell you or which will show that you encounter a direct left recursion later on. So S gives A or B. Is the leftmost symbol same as leftmost symbol on the left hand side? No. Is the leftmost symbol same as leftmost symbol on the left hand side? No. So this particular production is not having direct left recursion. Agreed? Now go to the next production. The leftmost symbol matches the leftmost symbol on the left hand side. So this production is having left recursion. Check this. Since leftmost symbol here is S, and since the production of S is defined before A, in place of S, substitute productions of S. Since the leftmost symbol here is a non-terminal which is defined above A, replace this S with productions of S. So after I do that, what do I get? I get this. So in place of S, please substitute productions of S. So I get capital A, small a d or small b d. So capital A, small a d or small b d. I didn't do any rocket science here. I just substituted productions of S in place of S. So one option is capital A small a d, capital A small a d. Second option is small b d. Second option is small b d. And this. So out of these three, it became 4 now. Why? Because I replaced S with productions of S. And in place of SD, I got two different productions. In place of SD, I got two different productions just because in place of S, I substituted productions of S. Clear? So now none of the productions leftmost non-terminal is defined above it. Now if you see, this is a direct left recursion which you had not noticed over here. Over here, leftmost symbol was S, which was not matching exactly same as A. So A was not equal to S. Hence, even though there was a left recursion there, we didn't notice it. Only after substituting S with its productions, I noticed it. Clear? A was giving SD, but S was not equal to A, so it was not having a direct left recursion. But only when I substituted S with these two options, that's when I came to know that there was direct left recursion hidden in this production. That's why it is called indirect left recursion. Indirect left recursion are the one in which you come across direct left recursion only after substitution. I repeat, indirect left recursion is one in which you come across direct left recursion only after you substitute. So you come to know about direct left recursion only after you substitute. You come to know about direct left recursion only after you substitute. That's what is indirect left recursion. So how to eliminate indirect left recursion? It's very easy. Just order the non-terminals in a particular order. So S, you can order them in the way in which it is given to you all. So S is the first, A is next. Then after you order them, check whether the leftmost symbol is a non-terminal which is defined on top of it. Check whether the leftmost non-terminal is a non-terminal which is defined on top of it. When I say top of it, it can be any layers above. In this example, there are only these two productions. But suppose there were 10 non-terminals, then you have to check for the leftmost non-terminal which is defined anywhere above it. Then you have to substitute that non-terminal with its productions. That's it. So first step, consider the productions which are given to you all as it is. Second step, check the leftmost symbol and check whether if it is defined above it. If it is defined above it, replace it with its productions. So in this example, S was defined above it. So I replaced this with its productions. If I replace S with its productions, what do I get? Capital A small a d, capital A small a d, and small b and d, small b and d. So then there are no other non-terminals over here which is defined above it. So now you see that there is a direct left recursion here. So what is the formula? You all know by now. There is no direct left recursion here, right? Because the leftmost symbol is not matching S. Now over here there is, here definitely there is direct left recursion. So I am clubbing all the productions starting with A together and all the productions not starting with A together. So this is of the format A alpha 1, A alpha 2, alpha 2 is AD, okay? So A alpha 2, beta 1, beta 2. This is of the format A alpha 1, here alpha 1 is equal to C, A alpha 2, here alpha 2 is equal to AD, beta 1 which is equal to BD, beta 2 which is equal to epsilon. So just apply the formula. A gives beta 1 A dash or beta 2 A dash. So it is beta 1 A dash or beta 2 A dash, and A dash gives alpha 1 A dash or alpha 2 A dash or epsilon. Done. Your left recursion is gone. Just apply the formula. Very simple. Again I'll explain. This is of the format A alpha 1 or A alpha 2 or beta 1 or beta 2. So replace this with A gives beta 1 A dash or beta 2 A dash, and A dash gives alpha 1 A dash or alpha 2 A dash or epsilon. So this is how I have explained to you how to eliminate direct left recursion and indirect left recursion. In indirect left recursion, you have to substitute the leftmost non-terminal on the right hand side of the production if it is defined above your production. And once that exercise gets complete, then you can eliminate direct left recursion using the formula that I have given to you. So this is a algorithm for eliminating indirect left recursion. So how did I explain? First, sort the productions based on a particular order. So you can also consider the productions in which it has been given to you all. Second is, if the leftmost non-terminal is defined on top of it, replace it with the productions of that particular non-terminal. And final step says remove the direct left recursion. So what are the steps? You arrange the non-terminals in some order, A1, A2 till AN. So what is that order? S followed by A is the order. Just take the order in which it is given to you all. Next is for loop. I is equal to 1 to N. You have done the ordering of all the non-terminals, right? So I is equal to 1 to N. There is internal for loop which checks for J is equal to 1 to I minus 1. That means in short, just look out for productions which are defined on top of it. Just look out for productions which are defined on top of it. And if the leftmost symbol on the right hand side of the production is one of the non-terminal defined on top of it, then replace that with its productions. If the leftmost symbol on the right hand side of the production is one of the symbol that is defined on top of it, replace that with its productions. So suppose AJ gives delta 1 till delta k. In place of AJ, just write delta 1, delta 2 till delta k. And this gamma keeps on appending all, because I am substituting AJ with its productions. So in place of AJ, just substitute its productions. So delta 1 followed by gamma, or a delta 2 followed by gamma, or till delta k followed by gamma. That's this, simple. And once you do that substitutions, final step is eliminate immediate left recursion using the formula below, which says group all productions starting with A together, group everything without starting with A together, and replace this with A gives beta 1 A dash, beta 2 A dash till beta M A dash, then A dash gives alpha 1 A dash or alpha 2 A dash till alpha N A dash or epsilon. Please practice this. Please handwrite it. For this example, you will definitely get it. At least without looking at the solution, solve it 10 times. Using the formula A gives A alpha or beta, replace it with beta A dash gives alpha A dash or epsilon. Just do it 10 times, these two examples, and you will get it. Now that we have learned elimination of left recursion, the next comes left factoring. Left factoring is a concept which is nothing but everything from left you take common, just write it once, and whatever is uncommon you write it as a different options. So in ambiguity, when do you say that grammar is ambiguous? When a parser is not able to understand which one of the productions to be used. So I had explained one ambiguous grammar here, right, earlier. So E gives E plus E, E minus E. So all these are starting with E. So the parser is not able to understand whether you need to use E plus E or E minus E or into E or all this. So parser is not able to understand which of the options to be used, and that makes it ambiguous, right? So one reason why it is ambiguous, because on the left hand side everything is same. That means we need to do left factoring. That means whatever is same from the left hand side, just write it once, and whatever is not same, introduce new productions to handle them. Let's see how to do that. So in left factoring, I have a simple example here. Let's see the example, then we'll go to theory. So in the example, S is having 3 different productions and E is giving you B. So over here on the right hand side, there's some, now this is starting with IETS or IETS. So left hand side of these two productions are almost similar as far as IETS goes. So here it is IETS, here it is IETS followed by ES. So the parser won't know. So in the input string, suppose I get IETS, he won't know whether to take this or this. When the first character that it hits it I, he won't be able to know whether he has to take a production starting with this I or production starting with this I. So that's why we need to convert this into left factored grammar. So whatever is common, just write it once. So IETS is common, so I wrote it once here. S gives IETS, and whatever is uncommon, you write a new production for that. So what I did was I wrote IETS once followed by S dash. So S dash is a new non-terminal that I introduced. So what is the S dash? S dash is either ES or epsilon. Because I have introduced S dash here, right? S dash is, see, very simple it is. S gives IETS. So whatever is common, you just write once. And for whatever is uncommon, you introduce a new non-terminal called S dash. So I just write S dash here. So what can be the value of this S dash? S dash have to be epsilon if this production needs to be satisfied. Epsilon is empty, right? So S dash have to be epsilon if this production have to be satisfied. And S dash have to be ES if this production have to be satisfied. That's why S dash can be ES or epsilon. That's it. So this is how the left factoring is implemented. Whatever is common from left, just write it once. And for whatever is uncommon, introduce a new non-terminal. So over here, IETS was common. So IETS I wrote it once. And for uncommon, I wrote S dash. So S dash can be either epsilon or ES. So S dash is either epsilon or ES. Remaining things remain the same. So left factoring, whatever is common, just write it once. For uncommon thing, introduce a new production and a new non-terminal. So this is the theory for that. For each non-terminal A with the longest prefix alpha. So here the longest prefix is IETS. Longest thing that is common from left is your alpha. Okay. For two or more alternatives, if this alpha is not equal to epsilon, IETS is not equal to epsilon, then do this. Suppose A gives alpha beta 1, alpha beta 2 till alpha beta n, or gamma, where gamma is everything that is not starting with alpha. Correct? So in this production, what is gamma? Small a. Because small a is not starting with IETS. Small a is not starting with IETS, that's why gamma is small a. So gamma is everything or all the productions which are not starting with your alphas. IETS is your alpha because it is the most common string from the left hand side which is exactly matching. And gamma is small a because it's part of the production which is not starting with alpha. So what do? Just write alpha once, and for whatever is uncommon, you introduce a dash. And what is a dash? A dash can be either beta 1 or beta 2 till beta n. Simple. So a dash is a new non-terminal that we are introducing. And repeatedly apply this transformation until no two alternatives for a non-terminal have a common prefix. Keep on applying this algorithm, because it can happen that after I do this, after I write the common thing once and uncommon I introduce a new production, it can happen that for S dash, again some things may start matching from left. It can happen for some other productions. In that case, please be careful and verify that none of the productions have a common prefix on the right hand side, so that there is no confusion for the compiler. Okay, so what is left factoring? In left factoring, whatever is common, you just write it once, and for uncommon, introduce a new non-terminal. This new non-terminal can be ES or epsilon. Same we did here. Suppose A gives alpha beta 1, alpha beta 2 till alpha beta n or gamma. So here alpha is common and gamma is everything that is not starting with alpha. So replace this with A gives alpha, just write whatever is common from left once and introduce alpha A dash. And what is A dash? Beta 1 or beta 2 till beta 3 till beta n. Simple. So whatever is left, common from left, just write it once. Uncommon, have a new non-terminal. That new non-terminal is whatever is uncommon. So A dash gives beta 1, beta 2 till beta n. And gamma goes with this because it is not starting with alpha. Clear? So these are some examples of context-free languages that I have on my screen. I'll explain to you all these examples. Okay. So context-free grammars we already know by now. It contains set of productions, right? So context-free grammars generate context-free languages. Languages are nothing but all strings which are generated by that particular grammar. So starting with the start symbol of the grammar, all the strings those can be derived using that particular grammar forms the language for that grammar. Okay. So this is the language that is given to us, which says W is in A or B asterisk, meaning W that is used in this language can be 0 or more repetitions of A or B. W which is mentioned here is 0 or more repetitions of A or B. So it says W, then a character C and WR, meaning the same W that you have written here, write it in reverse here. So suppose you type ABB here, then a C, then after C you need to have BBA, exactly reverse of what you wrote before C. WR meaning reverse of W, what you wrote on the left hand side of C. So suppose you wrote ABB, after C you need to write BBA. So what is the context free grammar for this language? We are definite that central character is C. So I'm boiling down this entire thing into C, because if A or B asterisk it is. What if A or B repeats 0 times? What is the language generated? String generated will be only C. So S is the starting symbol which boils down to C. That completes the language. So according to the language that's defined here, it says A or B asterisk. So if A or B asterisk, meaning if it repeats 0 times, the string that I'm going to get out of this is only C. That's why starting symbol derives C will complete my language. If A or B repeats 1 time, okay, then I will be having one character on left hand side of C, one character on the right hand side of C. That's why I'm writing S in capital, S capital in middle. I'm writing S capital in middle. So as per the language, it says whatever string which is on the left have to be reverse on the right. So I write A on left, A on right. I write B on left, B on right. So with this grammar, I keep on substituting. Like suppose I can take any example for that matter. Any string. Like let's take a simple string ACA. Is ACA a valid string from this language? Yes. How? Because there is a A here, there is a C here, and opposite of A is A. So ACA matches. So how will we reach that ACA from this grammar? Start with the starting symbol and go to this production. S gives ASA. And in the next step, replace this S with C. I get ACA. So in the first step, we replace S with ASA. And in the next step, replace S with C. So I get ACA. Correct? So this is the grammar for this particular language. I have couple of more examples for you all. There is one more language that is given which says repeat A n times, where n is greater than equal to 1. Repeat B m times, where m is greater than equal to 1. Repeat C m times and repeat D n times, meaning B and C have to be repeated equal number of times. A and D have to be repeated equal number of times. Okay, B and C have to be repeated equal number of times. A and D have to be repeated equal number of times. So how to write a grammar for that? Very simple. Have a non-terminal A. Now B and C have to be equal, right? So B and C. I am placing on both the sides of capital A. And what is the minimum value of M? Minimum value of M is 1. So at least one BC needs to be there. That's why I am ORing it with BC. So lowest possible string that you can get is BC if M is equal to 1 here. That's why A derives BC. And for multiple repetitions of BC, I have A in between them. So you can keep on substituting A with BAC if BC are repeated many times. And final A that is at the center, you can replace it with BC at the last iteration. Same goes with A and D. So B raised to M and C raised to M, for this particular expression I had written this rule, right? B raised to M and C raised to M. For that I wrote the entire thing. So you can label A for this particular sub expression. So now for writing the entire expression, it is A, sub expression is capital A, which is depicted here, and a D. Correct? A, for a sub expression, I have a rule depicted by label A. So write a A there and D. And if A and D have to be repeated many times, so this is the criteria where N is equal to 1. If N is equal to 1, A and D will appear only once. That time you can use this. But if N is greater than 1, A and D will appear many times. That time using this recursive A and D, and I am writing S there. So keep on using this, and once A and D repetition is over, you can replace, or you can use this for replacing S with. And this A you can replace it with this expression. I'll give you one more example. A raised to N, B raised to N, C raised to M, D raised to M. Here, these A and B have to be repeated equal times. This C and D have to be repeated equal times. Okay. So, I am writing a rule for, and again here N and M have to be greater than or equal to 1. So, for A, I am writing A and B part. Okay. A, B. So, if N is equal to 1, minimum string is AB. So, that's why it is AB. And for multiple iterations, I am having A here. So you can repeat AB many times. For C and D, I have this rule. So M is equal to 1 is the lowest possible length. So B gives CD. And if there are many C's followed by D's, then you can use this recursive way. And what is the final language? A is a label for this particular expression. B is a label for this expression. So I am concatenating A and B. Simple. So A is a label for this expression, B is a label for this expression. So final language is A concatenate B. So using this, you can construct CFGs. So in my next session on compilers, we will learn top-down parsing. Thank you.